Today on the Gold Standard.
The only money that has survived in history is gold and silver, and these precious metals will continue to maintain their purchasing power. Fiat money, on the other hand, which is paper, continues to lose purchasing power and continues to lose value. So it's only a matter of time before we see higher gold and silver prices, because it's only a matter of time before we see lower, much lower fiat currency prices. With all this money that they're printing, Dave.
This is the Gold Standard from Midas Gold Group with Kenneth Russo. Hello, I'm Dave Dino. Welcome to the Gold Standard, your source for secure investment opinion and information on the advantages of purchasing and owning precious metals. Whether you're a novice investor or an experienced collector, this is the program that gives you a realistic weekly perspective on the state of the economy, reliable information about using precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum to safeguard your wealth, and remarkable details about specific precious metal coins and bullion. Ken Russo is a senior vice president at Midas Gold Group, and his peers characterize him as a straight shooter who will work harder for you than anyone else. Ken, it is a pleasure to join you again this week.
Nice to be with you, Dave. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes, indeed, we do. Our topic is protecting your nest egg. Ken, the big news out of Washington has centered around the so-called Inflation Reduction Act that was signed by President Biden. By the way, they're no longer calling it that. They've given it a new name. Democrats are taking victory laps after the passage of this massive $800 billion spending spree. But there's more to the story than the political promises that are being made, aren't there?
Yeah, Dave, and let's remember what we're really talking about too. We're at debt levels, government, corporate, and private, that are never going to be repaid. The debt's never going to be repaid. We're in an epic global bubble in stocks, bonds, and property, and on all of that eventually is going to collapse due to printed money and huge debt. And yes, we have inflation that's going to probably lead to hyperinflation, and we're going to talk about that more in a second. And not to mention, we have political and economic corruption here in the United States and in Europe and in most countries. And that's going to affect pensions going forward and Social Security and everything else. So that's the main gist. And yes, we have a new act. They should have called it maybe the Reckless Spending Act, or Let's Squeeze the Little Guy Act, or more bad decisions about our money act, right, Dave?
Yep.
Let me give you a little perspective on what the so-called Inflation Reduction Act actually does. First, at the moment, most Americans, Dave, are deeply concerned about, the faltering economy. It's an economy with massive inflation continuing to hurt the middle class and the poor. Not to mention, people were really excited about 87,000 new IRS agents, right, Dave, being hired and monitoring and surveillance. And we talked last couple weeks about the Executive Order 14067, which basically is digital money coming and ultimate surveillance of everything. So, besides all of that, now we have soaring food prices, but the White House says that it's zero. Gasoline prices are still far above the cost of just a year ago. There are higher prices for all goods and services across the economy for everybody, and home energy prices are soaring. I noticed that my natural gas bill in the last year or so, 6 months, has really been a lot higher than what it's typically historically been, and I barely even use it. Imagine if I actually used it. So these are all ominous signs, not going away anytime soon. And history tells us, Dave, when it comes to prices that are driven up by inflation, and remember, folks, this inflation is decisions of Washington, crazy spending, some supply chain issues, but it's mostly due to the devaluation and the printing of our money in unlimited supply. And when you print something in unlimited supply, it's going to lose value. The bottom line is the cost of living for everybody, Dave, is going to end up a lot higher. On top of that, I saw a report where wages declined actually 3% compared to a year ago. So looking at wages that were raised and then the cost of inflation, which we're seeing now, wage earners have actually lost 3% if you look at it that way. But I would say that it's actually much, much more than that, because we're looking at the devaluation of our money and increased prices. And So it's a really bad combination. But the bottom line is that many of us are a lot poorer this year than we were a year ago. And the big question, Dave, is how do we not lose a substantial part of our savings and our retirement accounts when all of this comes crashing down? And that's exactly where people should be focused. What can you do to avoid huge losses in your buying power concerning your savings, or avoid huge losses or money may just disappear from your retirement accounts, your IRAs, and your old 401ks? And the answer to that, as everybody knows that listens to us every week, Dave, take a portion of it and move it into a tangible asset sideways, tax-free, into something like gold, silver, or platinum, and especially gold, Dave.
A reminder here that you are listening to the Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. And our topic today is protecting your nest egg. So, Ken, we talk every week about the advantages of owning physical gold. And in light of what may be coming down the road, how can gold and silver help a person combat the effects of inflation and protect their nest egg?
Well, Dave, I mean, in a nutshell, the only money that has survived in history is gold and silver, and these precious metals will continue to maintain their purchasing power. Fiat money, on the other hand, which is paper, continues to lose purchasing power and continues to lose value. So it's only a matter of time before we see higher gold and silver prices, because it's only a matter of time before we see lower, much lower fiat currency prices. With all this money that they're printing, Dave, it's only natural, and it's only a matter of time. It's inevitable before the dollar falls or crashes. I mean, look at what's happening to the euro and the yen. I mean, they're all weak. All of the fiat currencies are weak. They're all not worth their weight in anything. They're all backed by nothing. It's all just monopoly money, just created out of thin air. And it's been that way since 1971. And some crazy, horrific things have happened since 1971 when it comes to our money. So the thing is that gold will hold your purchasing power. It will always be worth something. It's something, Dave, that you could hold in your own possession, outside of the banking system, outside of the markets, outside of this digital system that's going to be, a lot of surveillance by government officials and these new 87,000 IRS agents. So gold gives people that tangible asset that will help them survive and get through the next financial crisis. And folks, that financial crisis, whether it be dollar, economy, or stock market, is quickly approaching, and it could be arriving as soon as this fall.
We are going to continue our look at protecting your nest egg just a little bit later in the program, and we will highlight the best ways to convert your cash or investments into the security of gold. But first, a reminder that you are listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. And in a moment, we're going to look at a specific precious metal that you can use to safeguard your wealth. And that's coming up right after this.
The Fed lied when they initially said inflation was transitory. They knew it wasn't, but didn't want to panic the markets and you, the people. This is why they tried to keep secret the $125 trillion in loans they gave banks around the world. We've seen inflation ramping up, and Midas Gold Group thinks the Fed is way behind the curve with interest rates. It's time to call Midas Gold Group, 805-601-6000. You can add financial privacy and protection from inflation and profit potential to your investments through physical gold and silver. They provide you with the quality service and critical information you need without the pushy salesman. Get your portfolio reset with gold and silver. Call Midas Gold Group for their guide to owning bullion and coins today. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Dino, and our topic today is protecting your nest egg. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to come and visit our local office to meet with us in person. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those of you listening in other cities, just call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD, by the numbers 855-322-4653. Ken, a quick question. When people call that number, they're not going to be talking like they would at some other online gold dealers. They're not going to be talking with some slick salesperson, are they?
Yeah, or not a, just a customer service person. So
Mm.
we're going to offer them attention and we're going to invest time in our clients, Dave, and they get to speak to some of the traders themselves, even myself, because we do really take a vested interest in our clients and we really do want them to be able to protect their savings and protect their retirement accounts. And they can make their own decision, but they should at least have the information available so that they can make the best possible decision that they can. And we believe that that's by talking to us individually.
Can we now turn to look at a specific precious metal product? And today, a coin we've looked at before, but one that I want to talk about from a different perspective. And I'm talking here about the gold Australian kangaroo. Now, this coin interests me because it's one of a select few legal tender bullion gold coins to change their design every year, right?
Yeah, Dave, and and due to this and their limited annual mintage, they may, unlike many other bullion coins, actually rise, their numismatic value as well as the gold content of the coin. And we're not endorsing Australia, we're just I like the coin, so it's worth a little bit more than even just the weight and the purity of the gold itself. It's a really nice coin.
I also appreciate that on the what you call the obverse side or the head side, Queen Elizabeth II's portrait is actually up to date. It reflects her age.
That is true. I don't know of many political leaders who would allow their coinage portraits to, age as they do, but it just adds to the uniqueness of the design and the coin's value.
But the coin is called the Australian kangaroo. So why is that?
Well, that goes back to the Perth Mint in Australia. It goes back to 1987, Dave. It's a bullion coin, meaning this particular coin is 24 carats, which is 49 pure gold. So there's no other alloys or metals inside of the coin. It's pure. Until 1989, the reverse of this coin, 1 ounce coins are the most popular, as people know. They had gold nuggets, Dave, gold in raw, unrefined form. Hence, that's where the original name came from, the Australian gold nugget. And there are some people that still refer to the kangaroo still as the nugget, but that's where the name came from. And the first strike of these coins to display different kangaroos was seen actually on the proof coin edition in 1989. And as we all know, the kangaroo is a well-recognized symbol of Australia. This design change, Dave, has led to the coins now being referred to as the gold Australian kangaroos. This is a tremendous coin, and it does qualify for the gold IRA, and it also does qualify, Dave, for converting some of your cash non-qualified accounts into gold, and you could actually take delivery of it. And it's a fantastic coin. I like it a lot.
You know, I got to tell you that, in my opinion, I think any buyer of gold would find this to be a treasured part of their collection.
Yeah, I mean, in its own way, I kind of like all the different coins and all the different kinds of bars in any form. I kind of appreciate them all. But yeah, this is a nice coin, Dave. But the bottom line is you can still take some of that untrustworthy fiat, that paper money that may be worth not too much in the near future, or maybe, who knows, maybe the government will even confiscate cash going forward or something crazy as we move digital. But this is a great coin that you could still take some of that fiat, take some of that paper, those paper assets that you may have, like stocks and bonds, before they crumble, and you can still convert it into some great gold products that will hold their value. It's real money. It will hold your purchasing power just like the gold kangaroo will. And I would urge people to do that before they can't. And there's no better product. There's a lot of good products, but there's no better product right now that's available. It's a good price and it looks fantastic than the gold Australian kangaroo.
And in a preview of coming events, in our next program together, we're going to talk a little bit more extensively about the relationship between gold and currency, and I can't wait to get to that. That'll be on our next program together. First of all, thank you, Ken. We've got coming up in a moment a continuation of our subject, Protecting Your Nest Egg, with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and that's coming up right after this.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka here. Do you have confidence in our government? I don't. So why would you put your full faith and credit in them and the dollar? Do not confuse the dollar, which is only a debt instrument, with actual money. Real money has intrinsic value, such as gold. The dollar is not backed by gold, so you know what that means. Time to call veteran-owned Midas Gold Group. 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. Or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of the Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Dino, and our topic today is protecting your nest egg. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we invite you to come and visit us at our local office to meet with us in person, see some of the product that we talk about. For the address and the directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com. MIDAS, MidasGoldGroup.com. And for those of you listening in other cities, you can call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD, by the numbers 855-322-4653. Now, let's return to our topic today, protecting your nest eggs. Ken, in light of what many economists are saying about continuing inflation and maybe even recession, let's take a few moments to talk about tangible ways to protect savings and investments, ways to protect a person's nest egg. First, for those who are saving for retirement or who are already retirement and have their money tied to investments that are teetering, what can they do to keep from losing more money if the market falters again? And we know it will.
For those who know gold, and for those who know basic fundamental principles of investing with a good strong foundation, that has to include something that's real money, and that's gold. So people out there may have a savings account, Dave. They may have a checking account. They may have a CD or an annuity, just at the bank or the credit union, and they may be just frustrated with the return, and maybe they're just afraid that it's going to disappear. Or maybe they don't trust the bank. You can take some of those funds and convert it sideways into gold. We'll walk people through it, gold coins, gold bars. We'll lock in prices, make proposals, and we'll send those particular gold and silver products directly to the client, and they can put it in their safe or depository or wherever it is that they can keep it in a safe way. The other thing that people can think about is if they have a IRA, existing IRA, Roth, traditional, SEP, or if they have an old 401k or a 403b or something like that, or a 457 plan. And they may say, hey, I don't want to be involved in the stock market casino anymore, or these bonds. This is all a big charade. It's a big Ponzi scheme. I want to get out of some of it, and I want to put it into gold. Well, you could move those IRA retirement funds sideways into a gold IRA, and we'll walk clients through that, where they could actually have gold coins, gold bars, silver coins, silver bars, even platinum, instead of being invested all in paper. So the question is, how can you get some money, Dave, out of paper? How can you get some money out of stocks, bonds, and annuities while you still can before everything falls apart? Well, the easy answer to that is it's always convertible to gold. Do it with somebody that you trust. Obviously, we would love for people to give Midas Gold Group a call. We'll hold their hand and walk them through that whole process.
A reminder here that you are listening to the Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and today our topic is protecting your nest egg. Ken, let's talk for a moment about the thrill, and it really is that, the thrill of actually owning physical gold. First, there's just something reassuring about having the gold in your possession, isn't there?
It is, Dave. I mean, and it is a thrill, because it's a privilege. It's something that feels strong, and it feels trustworthy, and it feels like it'll always be there for you and your family. And isn't money supposed to feel like that? And we mentioned before, gold and silver is the only form of real money that historically, throughout history, has held its purchasing power and its buying power. Fiat money, Dave, does exactly the opposite. Since 1971, every single fiat currency, paper currency that's just printed out of thin air, has lost anywhere between 95 and 98% of its value versus gold. So you have one product like paper that continues to lose value as governments and central bankers just print it into oblivion. They just handle it very recklessly. They've abused the power to be able to handle our monetary system, versus gold, which is limited, in its mining. It's not unlimited supply. It's something that has always been a store of value and a medium of exchange for 3,000 years. So, in my opinion, most people who don't even know, what their options are, every single American at this point should have a substantial part of their retirement and a substantial part of their savings in physical gold and in silver while they still can, before all this other paper stuff falls apart.
Ken, how easy is it to actually buy gold coins and gold bars from Midas Gold Group?
Well, we make it very simple, Dave. We make it very straightforward. That's what we pride ourselves in doing. That's what we specialize in. Sometimes people get into trouble where they try to be a specialist in too many things. We don't claim to be a specialist in all these other different markets, but when it comes to gold and silver and tangible assets and diversifying with the precious metal, a tangible product that you could hold on to outside of the banking system and protect your savings and your retirement accounts with. That's what we take pride in. We do that every day, for over a decade. We're a veteran-owned company, number one veteran-owned company for precious metals, gold dealer when it comes to that in the country. Well, we take a lot of pride in that, and we make sure the people that we hire feel the same way. So we'll hold people's hands through this whole process, make it real easy, but that's because that's how we construct our business, Dave. I can't speak for all of the other gold dealers out there, but that's how Midas Gold Group does things with their clients.
And lastly, most people, they are not well versed in the best way to buy gold. They wouldn't know if they're getting a fair deal or not. And I've seen some internet gold dealers who take advantage of that with inflated prices. I'm sure you have too. How do you help people making buying choices that actually benefit them, that give them their money's worth?
Well, I mean, Dave, we're a business and we have to make some money, but it could be reasonable, and you can do business in a reasonable way. And when you do business with people face to face, it has to be honest, it has to be straightforward, and it has to be a fair deal on both sides. So, we don't do business for free, but we are able to do it in a way where our clients understand that they're getting a great situation and they're getting a lot of help, and we'll help them forever for as long as they want to be clients. We don't charge a retainer or charge any fees to assist them down the road, even if they're not doing any more, moving around or any more buying of gold, but we're there for them. So there is a way to do it correctly. We have to work a little bit harder and maybe do more transactions to make our nut every month, so to speak. But we're in a great position to be able to do that. We're proud to have clients. We're privileged to be able to service them. But it's very important to us that we do it with honesty and we do it with integrity. And when you do it that way, you could have long relationships, and people are fine with that. And in our opinion, that's the only way that this should work. And that's the only way that everybody out there should be doing business, in our opinion.
Ken, that is the reason why I trust my savings and my investments to Midas Gold Group, because of the information and the guidance that I get from you about owning gold and silver. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure, Dave. Keep it going.
That is going to bring us to the end of our time together today here on The Gold Standard with Ken Russo, brought to you by Midas Gold Group. And a reminder, opinions given here are not intended to be specific to your investment strategy, but rather general information to give you a better understanding of investing in precious metals. For answers to your questions, call Midas Gold Group at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. And the website is MidasGoldGroup.com, MIDAS, MidasGoldGroup.com. The Midas Gold Group is proud to be, as Ken alluded to a moment ago, America's #1 veteran-owned gold dealer, supporting veterans' causes with a portion of profits donated to the Wounded Warriors Project and the Semper Fi Fund. So your investment in your future is also an investment in the future of those who have bravely served the cause of freedom. Again, the number to call to speak directly with Midas Gold Group is 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. Ken, thank you again for your time today.
Yeah, nice to talk to you as always, Dave.
I'm Dave Dino, and I hope you'll come and join us again next week at the same time for another edition of The Gold Standard.
The Gold Standard was brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.